Welcome to episode 1 of Movie Review, a new series that I'm doing here on Popcorn and Play because I love games, but I also love movies. Today we're talking about the Ballad of Wallace Island. Now gang, let's start with this. Amazing reviews. It has a 97% tomato meter on Rotten Tomatoes and a 93% popcorn meter, which is like the audience score, right? Google reviews, 4.5. 329 ratings. And I'll tell you this, I just watched it. It's by far my favorite drama of 2025 right now. A couple really interesting things that caught me by surprise. The cast. Carey Mulligan, you will best know her from The Great Gatsby. I'm literally looking through and like halfway through the movie, I'm like, wait a minute, what, this chick looks so familiar. It's the gal from The Great Gatsby. I can't believe it. Tom Basden. I think, yeah, you'll best know him. If you ever watched Ricky Gervais's TV show Afterlife, you'll notice Tom. He is Ricky's brother-in-law in that show. So I was like, okay, cool. I kind of came into this because I saw Tom. The trailer really took me. It seemed like a typical kind of British style comedy, but it's not in the British style of cinematography. For anybody that's seen like British movies or even TV shows, you'll notice that there's kind of like a certain sharpness, a certain FPS that is different from American cinematography. This one kind of blends both the tonality of the British type of filming, but not the cinematography. We have this beautiful cinematography of Wales, is where this was mainly filmed. The coastline is gorgeous. The skies are gorgeous. The foliage, the environment, it's breathtaking. And so we're gonna enter spoiler territory. So just heads up, if you like what I said up until now, go watch the movie. It is just brilliant. I loved it. It moved me a bit. A couple unexpected twists that was pleasantly surprised. Come back though if you want to hear my thoughts on this. But I'll get into that. So stop here if you don't want any more spoilers. Okay. So there's obviously a gentleman, Nell, the character. She comes with her, I believe, husband or fiance or boyfriend or whatever to the island. Herb didn't know that Charles called her, which I thought was really interesting. We also find out that like Charles won the lottery a couple times, which is kind of a cool like revelation. Oh, and I thought it was brilliant too, that the first time he won the lottery, him and his wife just traveled.
We got to travel the globe. We did Asia. That's what they say, isn't it? It did.
Who?
Well, the Globetrotters.
No, I mean, who's we?
Palin, Alan Wicker. We did China. We did Malaysia. Kathmandu was very much a case of Kathmandu. Italy. Antigua, Tokyo. It's not the route, of course. That's just some of the places we visited, really.
What a brilliant take on it. While they're in that scene, if you look at the fridge, you see magnets from all the places that they traveled. I was like, it's so subtle, but it's brilliant. And then you put the pieces together, like around their house. There's a suit of armor. There's a sword laying against it. There's different like antiques and things that are part of the background of the house, but it's so well placed. And then he's like, so he traveled and kind of just blew all of our money. And then he won the lottery again and then bought this house.
And then one day, of course, it had run out. And there we were, hungover and suntanned, with precisely 2/3 of diddly squat to our name.
Okay, so sorry, I don't understand. How come you're a millionaire now?
Mm-hmm. So, played it again, and won it again, and decided to save it.
I was like, wow, you strike gold twice, but what a cool idea for a plot is that he won twice, and the second time he had fulfilled his desire to travel with his wife and created all those memories, and now he like bought a dream home. I was like, wow, very cool. Because you hear so many people winning the lottery and then they go bankrupt. And like, you know, the first time he won, obviously he said, I didn't have much left over after that. So fast forward. Nell comes to the island with her husband, Michael. What a brilliant polar opposite of characters Nell is to Herb. He can't help but fall back in love with her because I mean, like, let's be real. I'm an actor. You have to be able to portray kind of just like subtly falling back in love, but you know, thinking about their situation, obviously Herb never got over her. And when you're singing to someone, especially songs that meant something to the both of you, you can't help but just fall back in love with that person. Oh my gosh, it's like this most toxic, intoxicating feeling that just creeps back in no matter where you are in life. And it was really cool to watch that subtlety unfold on the screen. I thought that was done brilliantly, especially in that first time they're at the table with Charles and Herb and Nell are kind of just sharing memories about the past, and then Herb brings the guitar into the room and they first harmonize.
If you need some affection and you're feeling all alone, reach on through your reflection, pick up the phone.
What the camera showed on Charles, I thought was very interesting. They never really explain it, but he tries, like, he's trying to be positive. He tries to, he kind of doesn't seem like he has a lot of like social interaction recently in the past 5 years since his like wife passed away. So he does like kind of a lot of facial tics of like trying to smile to cover up feelings and whatnot. And we watch his you know, tics like start to kind of fade as he's just entranced by these two harmonizing together.
And you can't stay if you're staying. Well, I don't need to know. We'll just keep the music playing and let the...
Well, first off, he didn't cry. You would probably see that more often in like American cinema, where Charles might let a tear roll, or we'd watch his eyes get like really watery, and that didn't happen. We just kind of watched him be a bit more subdued. And this was a really brilliant take because that happened often. So fast forward now. Nell and Herb are starting to like get ready for the gig, right? Michael goes off to an island to look at puffins because he's a bird guy. That was kind of like a odd character development. I mean, it seemed just like a plot device to get him out of the way. That's okay though. It worked. But so Nell and Herb have this time together, and again, I think it was really interesting to kind of watch the roller coaster of like, oh, we're at each other's heads. I don't want to do this. Fine, okay, we're here. Michael says Nell really needs the money, so Herb kind of plays along, and then they kind of get caught up with it. And they're like, oh, this is beautiful. And I thought it was really brilliant. Oh yeah, when Herb couldn't play that like song, I interpreted it as he kind of faked he couldn't play because he didn't want to get to that place. Because he knew if he got to the place of being able to play it, it would start to make him fall back in love with Nell. I was like, oh my God, this is brilliant. Such subtle writing. Oh, it's gorgeous. So I loved watching their roller coaster, kind of like, oh, we're having fun, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh, Nell, we should go back on tour together. Like, oh, what the great days. Like, come on, tell me you're not feeling this.
We should tour. Yeah. You and me, we should tour. We should do like, you know, back in the day, small venues. It's still, I mean, you feel that, right?
It was really well handled. They didn't get into a high volume argument. Nell, which I think is kind of very, very powerful of Carrie, her actress, the actress skill she has, is she just kind of like was a little bit stronger with her voice. Not louder, but stronger with what she said and how she said it. And I was like, oh, that's a really interesting choice.
I still love you now.
Oh, I shouldn't have come.
You knew what would happen.
I didn't. I just...
Of course you
no,
did.
I
That's
didn't.
why you came.
I'm all over the place at the moment and... pregnant. So I'm not getting into your bullshit, Herb, again. I'm just not. And you don't love me, okay? You love the past. And it was great. It was, but it's gone now. It's time to grow up, Chris.
What took me by surprise is, you know, one thing led to another, and she left the island. I was like, surely she's gonna come back. She never came back. What? Oh, wow, that really surprised me. I was like, whoa, no way. Yeah, she didn't come back. That was an interesting twist. And then it was really cool to just kind of see Herb, like he's heartbroken again. He's having to relive these feelings. And then he kind of says to Charles, like, you just ruined my life. And Charles, this is kind of where I got a little misty-eyed. Charles is like, I wish you would stop saying that. I wish you would stop saying that. Because at this point, Charles told Nell about his wife and like why this is so important to him. But he hasn't told Herb. And it's like, I really felt for the character because it's like, oh, he really wanted to like celebrate his wife. This is like the 5th anniversary. Anniversary is probably not the right word, but of her death. And this was a way he really wanted to like celebrate her, only to have it all come falling apart. And for the guy that he absolutely loves, it's his favorite musician in the whole entire world, to tell him that he's ruining his life. Oh my God, heartbreaking. I was like, oh, I'm getting a little misty-eyed now. It's very heartbreaking.
You've ruined my life.
I wish you'd stop saying that.
You've ruined my life.
I wish you'd stop saying that, Herb.
And so when all that happened, because they put us through so many twists and turns, I was like, surely Herb isn't going to leave the island. Like, come on, they can't end the movie here. That was crazy. And when they're alluding to it, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a terrible ending. And so we have kind of the scene where Herb is at the grocery store, which shout out to Cian Clifford, the gal who plays the lady at the grocery store. Just brilliant. I thought that was brilliant where she's like, Nell's asking her about like peanut butter cups, and she's like, I have peanut butter in a cup.
We have this.
You could maybe put it in a cup.
Or where Herb is like, yeah, I need some rice for my phone, and just like they're like, because it's like such a removed world, they're like, what does your phone need rice for? I thought that was brilliant humor right there. That those parts got me. That was pretty brilliant. And I also loved, before we get into the ending, I loved the part where Charles, he has this like court for tennis, and he's a really good server, but then, you know, they switch sides, and now Herb is serving to him, and then he's like, yep, well, you know, that's what I get because I've only had the opportunity to serve all these years. It was brilliant. Like those were things that just made me fall in love with this movie, because it was like the writing was brilliant, the humor was brilliant, the drama was brilliant. And then to get to the end, we watch Herb at the grocery store. And I'm like, okay, he's gonna leave, or he's gonna leave and come back with Nell, and they're gonna fulfill everything. Because this is also after the part where he sees the lantern, and I had to pause. I was like, what is written on that lantern? And it was, again, just beautiful. I think it was like, Marie, I'm here with Mortimer McGuire. It's perfect. Beautiful. Also, I was wondering, this we didn't really like allude to it, but when Charles saw Herb swimming, I'm not gonna lie, there was a point in me was like, oh, is he going out to like finish himself? Like, is he gonna commit suicide here? But I was wondering, did Charles, like, is he was very strong. He was like, no, I know what's happening. Don't do it.
No. Help! 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 No! Help!
Is that how his wife died? I don't know, but that was really, that was a really powerful moment. So, coming into the end, when Amanda, the gal at the grocery store, showed up on Charles's doorstep, loved how like just socially awkward Charles was. How he opened the door and then he's sitting down to his like halibut, and then she knocks and he's like, "Oh, let me," and he shuts the door, and then he opens it again and tells her something and shuts it again. I was like, bro, invite her in, man.
Flask. Sorry. Just gonna get a thermos flask for the gig.
And then when they go to the place that he had set up, that was a beautiful ending. That melted my heart to kind of like watch Herb put on the show. And it's like, wow. Like, what a redeeming ending for him. But then also just like what a beautiful ending. We got to watch Herb play that final song, the song that he was going to play with Nell. And this is what I loved about the ending, is I was fully expecting Nell to have shown up as well, and she didn't, and I thought that was a cool choice. But then we watched Charles get very moved by this song.
So this is a song about lost love, and it's the last time I'm ever going to play this. So I hope you're listening, Marie.
And we start to hear Nell's voice come in and harmonize. And we start to hear the song transition from being like film audio, right? You know, like there's a boom mic or a lavalier, and that has a certain like sound to it. But then we hear it just transition to like, just like we're listening to the soundtrack Like we're not listening to recorded audio on the beach. We're listening to like a soundtrack now. And Nell's voice is coming in, and I was like, oh wow, this is Charles fully immersed in both reality and then his own mind of like what this song is, because he's heard it probably hundreds, if not thousands of times since he was been with his wife.
Let's walk in the sun.
And we just were focused on him, and we start to see his eyes just get a little bit red, a little bit misty. That was beautiful. That was a beautiful moment right there. I really liked that. I really liked that. And then, you know, finally we get that finishes. He sends Herb off. Herb's got the suitcase, you know, he left. You will notice he only has one guitar case, which was cool. When he's sending him off to the boat, and I like how Charles is talking to himself as he's like sending him, oh, look at that, he's waving to you. Oh yeah, yep, wave back, wave back. I was like, what a funny character. And then again, just another redeeming moment where Herb, we find out he left all the money there on the pool table, the guitar, where it was like, you know, your biggest fan, I'm your biggest fan, Charles. Great. And then Amanda shows up, and you know they're about to go play tennis together and hopefully fall in love. What a great movie. What a great movie. That's definitely on my list as far as like movies that were cute, that I laughed at, and that made me cry. In the comments, let me know what you guys thought down below, because it was a great experience for me. I'm really glad I took the time to watch it. And if you loved it too, let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching along with this kind of movie review. I'm going to do more of these because Popcorn and Play is both about video games and movies. So like, subscribe if I earned it for you. And gang, until next time, take care.